All right, well, last year we kicked off our year-end wrap-up quoting Bob Dylan, and I think this year we're going to quote Led Zeppelin. The song remains the same.
I like it. Okay.
That's what we're seeing.
Yes.
The data bears that out, which I think you're going to talk a little bit about as well.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. So we're our annual, year-end recap, comparing 2024 to 2023. And last year, we predicted a year ago, a quick year it went, we predicted that the market would be increasing at 3 to 5% year over year. And we were wrong. Not by a lot, but market increased as it turned out. Over 7% in Ocean County, 11% in Monmouth County. Really, what that translated to was that the median sale price in Ocean County went from $525 to $565, and a house in 2023 in Monmouth County that was $675 is now $749. So a meaningful jump, more than what I anticipated, especially with interest rates largely staying the same.
Yeah, you see this acceleration of home values continuing now year after year, basically for about 4 or 5 years since the coronavirus. And it's, I think, somewhat unprecedented in our area, but the returns are great for those folks who are in those homes or bought, pre-coronavirus or have just built up equity. They're in a great position right now, and it's a great time for them. It's exciting to see. I think one of the things that we thought of for 2024, and we think will also be the case in 2025, is even though you may have a little spring bump of inventory, we're not most likely going to be anywhere near we were the number of homes for sale before coronavirus, 2019, early 2020, in 2025. We still have many, many homes that would have to be listed in order to get anywhere near back to the numbers that we saw then.
For sure. Yeah, the inventory every year for the last, now going on, I think 4 years, being largely at the same number we were at. It's almost identical numbers as far as the amount of homes that are for sale. Some of the other things that we're tracking. So we saw inventory at roughly 2.5 months of inventory. It was slight uptick from 2023. We were at 2.4, and now we're at roughly around 2.5 for both counties. That means that we'll be sold out of all the homes if no new homes came to market, in 2.5 months we'd be sold out of all the homes in Ocean and Monmouth County. And you want to talk about a balanced market?
Well, yeah, you're talking about 2.5 months of inventory, and that could be confusing to some folks, but folks should just know that typically a balanced market would be 6 months of inventory.
Yeah.
So you have this market that's been heavily weighted in favor of sellers. It's been a challenging time for buyers in terms of inventory and affordability.
Yeah.
Because in large part of these types of metrics where you have just a couple months of homes for sale, and that's been the case now for 5+ years.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. And we're starting in the year, we track it every single week, and we're exactly in the same spot. So we really, it's the same thing we said last year, which is that nothing changes in this market until inventory changes, until inventory gets back to a balanced market or sales start to slow down. One of the other metrics we follow is the number of single-family homes that are sold. In 2023, we're almost identical. We had 9,611 sales in 2023. Last year, we had 9,664. It's like identical amount of sales. That's way down from a few years ago where we had over 15,000 sales, but we're consistent at this pace now where inventory is at about the same and number of sales is at the same. So we really wouldn't. What do you think as far as thinking about this year's market? 2025.
If I was to pull out the crystal ball from the closet and dust it off a bit, I would probably say that, we see interest rates largely remain the same, maybe edge down a little bit. And you may have the new administration coming in and wanting to put a little bit of downward pressure on interest rates, but unlikely to go below 5.5. They're at 6.91 as of today. So we're unlikely to see any significant decrease in interest rates. We're unlikely to see enough people come on and sell their homes, or we're unlikely to see inventory lift or boost enough to really slow down that home value acceleration. So I think our prediction would largely be home values continue to rise and in an accelerated fashion, interest rates more or less the same, and while we'll have hopefully a very busy spring market with lots of folks listing, it's not going to be, as I mentioned, anywhere near the number of homes that would need to be listed for sale in order to get back to that pre-coronavirus level of homes that are available.
Yeah, you probably heard it from me if you follow what I've been saying is about the trends in the market and feeling like we've been approaching some peak, but you can't argue with the year after year of being where we're at. It's hard to envision anything different than more of what we experience. So I think that it's right on.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I know there's been a lot of discussion both on and off camera about the cycle of real estate and about the potential dip or anything that could be coming up in the future. I've argued, I think, both on camera and off camera, that we're kind of in this new normal where prices are wildly accelerated for assets across the board. Interest rates are just in the environment that they're in. They're probably going to remain there. People are accepting that. And I don't know that you're going to see a typical slowdown cycle. I think you will in parts of the country where you can build a 500 new home master plan community or 1,000 new homes. You simply cannot do that in Ocean and Monmouth County or really anywhere in New Jersey. So I think that constrains supply a bit, certainly enough to keep values accelerating.
Yeah.
And I think to avoid, in large part, dips that you may see in other parts of the country. If we see a dip of 10% in Kansas or California or somewhere like that, we may not experience it to that degree here at the Jersey Shore.
It's true. It's true. And, on the one side, I agree with all of that, and I would expect that we'll see a similar increase in home values. And at the same time, it's really hard to get to grip with the fact that the cost of living and just overall affordability, the lack of affordability can continue to go. But with where things are at and what we could see, again, for the foreseeable future right now, the next 6 months out with inventory being what it is, expect more of the same.
And we continue to see our area, Ocean and Monmouth County, the Jersey Shore, if you will, very much in demand.
Yeah.
People still swarming here for vacation, still coming in for summer rentals, still enjoying themselves and laying down those roots and those memories where later members of the family end up buying down here or end up getting a second home that becomes a primary home. And I think as long as that demand also stays in place, you're going to have a very strong market here.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the other pieces that I noticed just observing the moods of folks, that there's a number of buyers that I think held off on doing anything, thinking that we're going to have this correction. And now I'm starting to see some of those people come back and enter the market and just wave the white flag and buy.
Yeah.
Because they just feel like how long could, thinking that it was going to be a 1 or 2 year blip and then we'd see some sort of correction or there'd be a lot more inventory. But how long can you do it for? It really is trying for buyers out there.
Yeah, putting off that purchase any further out, banking on 1 or 2 years and hopefully getting a better buyer environment, I think, is a very challenging prospect.
Yeah, you
for a
might
lot
be
of folks.
5 to 10.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you're lucky, yeah.
So good news for homeowners. Still a tough time for new buyers. So predictions for 2025. How much do you think home values are going to go up again?
Well, the fact that we could even have a discussion about home values going up year over year, 5 to 10%, is almost against logic. I mean, that's the return that some people would see from a stock portfolio or bond portfolio, if they were lucky on the bonds. So I think a 5 to 10%, while outside of the norm traditionally, is still very reasonable in Ocean and Monmouth County.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 6.5.
All right.
That's my prediction for 2025.